Spring is upon us. We are in the month of March. When did that happen? Spring equinox is coming. So yes, it's officially about to be spring. So I figured I better get in here and talk about all the books I plan to read during the months of March, April, and May. So without further ado, get yourself a snack and or a beverage. And let's talk about all these things. Hello. My name is Nakia. Welcome to my channel. So yes, like I said in the intro, it's time for spring. Am I fully ready? Not really. I am still trying to hold on to winter, but it's going. Where I am, the weather is changing. It's already going to be warmer this week. We had a lot of rain and looks like that's it for a little bit. But anyway, things are supposed to change. We're supposed to have flowers bloom and warmer weather and all that good stuff. So I don't have necessarily books that are spring-ish, but I have a couple. So anyway, I'm just going to jump right into it and talk about all the things I plan to read. I have some book club books. I have lots of 2024 releases, some children's books, of course, and a couple graphic novels. So yeah, let's get on into it. First up, I have a January 2024 release, and this was one of my most anticipated books of 2024 for the most part. I will explain. I have been holding on to this book because I am going to be participating in the live book club discussion for this book for the book troop, which if you don't know, it's Gabby Reed's book club. And yes, this is the March book club selection. So in case you don't know, I am speaking of The Fury by Alex Michaelides. Now, we don't have a live show date yet, but as soon as we do, I will post it in my Instagram stories and I will put a community tab here. Always check both of those things. I update those way more than you will see me here on YouTube. And I also keep updates on Goodreads going. Anyway, I will be keeping all of these synopsises short and sweet because I don't know too much. I just want to get in and see what we getting. This is a mystery thriller, and from what I know about this one, we are following an ex-movie star who invites some of her closest friends to her private Greek island. Excuse me, we have a private island. What are your problems? Of course, there is a murder, and it is a whodunit mystery. Now, I'm not sure how I feel about this book yet. I know I haven't read it, but I mean going into it. You know, you always have some feelings like you're looking forward to it. You don't really know. Yeah, I'm a little wishy-washy with him because I loved his first book, The Silent Patient. I gave that like 4 stars, 4.5, something like that, and DNF'd The Maidens. So I will not be DNFing this one because I'm participating in the live show discussion, but I'm not too optimistic. I'm just going to say that. And also the reviews aren't looking so good on Goodreads. I know that doesn't matter, but it kind of does. Anyway, stay tuned for the live show discussion as well. Hope you will be joining us. And now let's move on to my next book. Next up, we have another 2024 release. This one came out March 5th, 2024. We already said 2024. Another mystery thriller. You know me. Don't worry, I actually have some sci-fi on this list, but of course, plenty of mystery thrillers. This one is Listen for the Lie by Amy Tintera. Now, this one snuck up on me. I don't even remember how I heard about it, but I read a little bit of the synopsis and I was like, sounds intriguing, because this was not on my most anticipated books list video. If you haven't seen it, I will link it here. But this one is about this woman named Lucy who is found wandering the streets one night covered in her best friend's blood. So naturally, she's a suspect in the murder. And one day, this true crime podcaster comes knocking on her door and they want to try to figure out if what she says happened, or I don't even know if she actually knows what happened, but they want to try to figure it out for the second season of their podcast. So this is like a mixed media type of thing, I believe. I don't know if I listened to the audiobook, but it seems like a good one for the audiobook. Either way, I'm looking forward to it. My hold has already come up from the library. I just got to finish the book I'm currently on, so it'll probably be my next read. Stay tuned on Goodreads, and as I said, I'm trying to update more on my Instagram stories as well. Links to all of those things are below, as well as in my About section here on YouTube. Anyway, let's move on to the next book. Now, of course, I have to have some children's books, my palette cleansers, my joy. I love the pictures, the illustrations, the color. So I've already picked up a couple, but I will probably pick up a few more based on my mood as I go along. So of course, stay tuned. There will be some Berenstain Bears, of course. And actually, one of the books I plan to read is The Berenstain Bears and Too Much Junk Food. Now, I'm pretty sure I read this one in my childhood. It looks familiar. It feels familiar. I don't have a copy yet, but I will be getting it. And I actually plan to read this for Old School April. And if you don't know, this is a readathon that was created by Kelsey over at Slime and Slashers. I will have her channel linked below with the announcement video and all of that. But a lot of BookTube buddies of mine are hosting it, and so it's gonna be fun. I was trying to find a book to read, and I was like, you know what? I'm probably gonna read a bunch of Berenstain Bears. So those count, they're old school, especially for me. So anyway, I'm looking forward to that one. And then I also picked up, if you saw my wrap up where I talked about books that I read during Christmas, I picked up Pinkalicious and the Holiday Sweater. I believe that was the name of it. And so it was fun. I liked the illustrations. So I said, I'll give another one a try. So I picked up Pinkalicious and The Sick Day. It's perfect for this time of year. You know, a lot of people are getting sick. I have not been sick in a good long while, knock on wood. But I still thought this would be cozy to transition me into spring. And as I said, I enjoy the illustrations. I mean, it's very pink because it's Pinkalicious, but still cozy. You know, here we got her blowing her nose. But anyway, should still be fun. And then next up, I have one perfect for the month of March that has to do with an event that will be happening right around the time that I post this video, because it takes me a minute to edit. That's why you guys don't get videos as much. And it is How to Catch a Leprechaun by Adam Wallace. I mean, St. Patrick's Day is just fun. Whether you're Irish or not, it is just a fun holiday. We used to have fun with it in school, wearing green, all that good stuff, you know. But the illustrations looked cute, you know, colorful. These look more digital, but I still enjoy them nonetheless. So this should be interesting. The leprechaun's little hat. Clearly he's gonna be sneaking around and doing things, getting into mischief. So this should be interesting. On the back, it says, how to catch a leprechaun. It's tougher than you think. He'll turn your whole house upside down. It's quicker than a wink. So as I said about the other ones too, should be cute, should be fun. Let's move on to some more adult novels. Fiction. These are fiction too. You know what I mean. Next up, I have another 2024 release and another book club book. I'm not participating in the live show, but I'm so excited about the live show discussion. This one is another one for the book troop, which is Gabby Reed's book club. I've already said this. So this is her April pick, and it is Murder Road by Simone St. James. I did also mention this in my anticipated books of 2024 video. I'll also link that here, but it's another one that I was tepid about because I read her book, The Sundown Motel, and I was not a fan. So I was like, I'll give her another try. This time I know what I'm getting going in. My expectations for that one were very different. I did a whole review about it. I will link it here, try to link it below as well. But I'm going to give this one another try. But like I said, it's mainly because I'm excited about the book club discussion, which will have Gavin and Katie Colson. So it should be fun. And I'm looking forward to getting in the chat and talking about it and being able to weigh in. Even if I DNF it, I still want to be part of the discussion. But anyway, in case you don't know what this one is about, this book takes place in 1995. So nostalgic for me. And actually, this probably counts for Old School April too, because it takes place in an older time. I'm going to count it. There we go. I'm checking another one off. But this one is just so, just gives me the 90s vibes. We are following a couple named April and Eddie who take a wrong turn one night and see a lone hitchhiker. When they pick this hitchhiker up, they notice that she has blood on her. So of course they take her to the hospital. She ends up dying at the hospital, and then they become the subject of the police investigation because, I mean, hey, they dropped her off. There's been some mysterious things going on. They don't know if they're the ones that did it or not. So of course, naturally, April and Eddie have to go trying to figure out what's been going on in this town and on this road so they can clear their names because they didn't do it. We know they didn't do it, but police don't know. So it sounds promising, but again, I don't know. I got a little bored with the Sundown Motel, so we'll see. Hopefully that doesn't happen with this one. Stay tuned, of course. Next up, I have a sci-fi novel, and this is an April 2024 release, also one of my most anticipated books of this year. You'll notice I rarely talk about books that I'm going to read that come up like in that month, because by the time I film, samples have not been put out yet, and I need a sample. I need to know if I like the writing, if I like the direction the story's going in, the pacing, whatever. I need to know that before I jump in. This one, they have already released a sample. I read a little bit and I was like, I don't know. I said I don't know about this story in the beginning, but you don't even know what I'm talking about. I am speaking of Mal Goes to War by Edward Ashton. This one is a cyberpunk sci-fi thriller dystopian. Like I said, has to do with AI. So I don't know if cyberpunk is my thing. And when I read a little bit of the sample, it was a little bit confusing. Even the synopsis is confusing. So I'm a little worried. But I am looking forward to the audiobook, which is narrated by the same man who did Mickey 7 and also Antimatter Blues. I love his narration style, so that should help me out. I really don't know much. As I said, it's confusing. But from what I got, it says we're following a free AI named Mal. I don't like that already. But it's also supposed to be a dark comedy wrapped in a techno thriller skin. And it says Mal Goes to War provides a satirical take on war, artificial intelligence, and what it really means to be human. So should be interesting. I know Edward Ashton has, interesting things to say about humanity and I guess, technology, science, where we're going with these things. I hope this is not the direction we're going in, but nonetheless, we're gonna strap in. So we shall see. Hopefully it will not be a DNF. I'm pretty sure at the very least, I'll probably just get through the audiobook. But anyway, stay tuned for that. Now let's move on to a couple graphic novels I'm going to be picking up. I've already picked up. I'm going to be checking out. These two are related, but I did not pick them up at the same time. I didn't even put them on my TBR list at the same time, but it's just funny that they happen to be very similar. These are both graphic novels that have to do with the DC universe. If you don't know, DC, Marvel, DC, it's Batman and the Joker and all that good stuff. The Flash. I'm going to stop there. Aquaman. Anyway. I am well more versed in Marvel than DC. Mainly, I keep up with Batman, but either way, we're gonna do this. And these graphic novels have to do with Batman. So first I have Bruce Wayne, Not Super. Look at this, how cute. First of all, it's just so tiny and cute. And I love the back too. There he is, and Batman shadow. So this is a middle grade graphic novel. It came out in 2023. And in this one, we are following 13-year-old Bruce Wayne. How cute. I think he may have been around the same age in the show Gotham. My daughter loved that show. I've seen bits and pieces. I tried to watch it and I just didn't get into it, but I've seen enough of it through her. Anywho, I believe that's around the age, or he's older than he was when his parents died. I'm not sure. I don't think his parents were in this book, so I'm pretty sure they had already died. If you don't know about that part, sorry. In case you don't know about Batman altogether, I don't even know what to tell you. He's a crime fighter. He's a vigilante. He has no superpowers, and that's part of what goes on in this book. He is attending an exclusive prep school for the gifted, and he's having a little bit of trouble because he's one of the only students at the school who does not have special powers. And he's actually at the school with, we got Green Lantern, we have the Flash, the Joker's back there, Bane. So very interesting. I'm sorry if you don't read comics or you don't watch Batman. I don't know what else to say. I'm familiar with these characters, but I'm sure I'll learn a little bit more reading this. So this story will be about like how he's gonna do at this school when he doesn't have powers. And I think it says on the back, Bruce becomes more determined than ever to prove that he can be just as cool as the supers that give him a hard time. First, he has to find the right disguise and gadgets. Oh, and the perfect hideout. But even with all of that, will he be ready to face true villainry? So of course there will be a battle and some fighting and whatnot. That's the same thing as a battle. Anyway, I'm looking forward to, oh, I didn't show you any of the illustrations. Yeah, there he is, I believe. But look at the school. This looks cozy and cute. Look at him up here. So stay tuned for my thoughts about this one. Should be interesting. I have never read a comic book related graphic novel, and hopefully I enjoyed it and want to read more. Because of Garlic and the Vampire and Garlic and the Witch, I am now wanting to read more graphic novels. So as I said, the graphic novels are related. So next up we have, this one's probably more up my alley, Young Alfred Payne and the Butler. And this one is by Michael Northrop. Oh, sorry, I forgot to say that this one is by Stuart Gibbs. Sorry, forgot that part. But yeah, so I mean, I didn't need much more. I'm like, he's doing his butlery. It's Alfred. I love Alfred. If you don't know, as I said, Bruce Wayne, Batman, loses his parents violently at a young age, and Alfred ends up taking care of him. He's his butler, but he's also his right-hand man. He helps him out with a lot of things. So like I said, gotta love Alfred. A lot of great actors have played Alfred through the years. So like I said, I've always loved his character. This is also a 2023 release and another middle grade graphic novel. And so yeah, as I said, I was looking forward to this because of the illustrations. But also, as the title says, we are following young Alfred before he goes to work for the Wayne family. Actually, in this one, he is attending the prestigious Gotham Servant School. So he's actually learning to become a butler and learning to become the Alfred that we know and love. And just like in the Bruce Wayne graphic novel, there's some kind of criminal plot going on, and Alfred has to figure out things and become a hero. So again, I'm looking forward to this. Should be cute. I just saw a little peek. Some uniforms that we have here. So yeah, as I said, stay tuned. This is so different for me. So I don't know how I'm going to feel, what I'm going to think, but probably you'll learn more on my Instagram story first. Probably. We'll see. I don't know. It's up in the air. All right. Next, we have another one of my most anticipated books of 2024. I told you I had a lot of 2024 releases, but yeah, a lot of my most anticipated of this year. This one also came out in January of this year. Another mystery thriller, of course. This one also adds that it's an interactive puzzle. Is that a clue? It should be, because I'm speaking of You've Been Summoned by Lindsay Lamar. So in this one, we have a group of 20-something-year-olds who are gathering at this historic manor for an overnight costume party. And of course, something has to go wrong. One of the guests has a twin sister and she goes missing, and then later her body is found, and then it's like, what is going on up in here? It's a guessing game. What is going on? An interactive mystery, as it said. We don't even know if it's a murder or what, because it doesn't say she was murdered. I've already paid attention to that. But yeah, this is one that sounds so fun, because this is one where we as the reader have to figure out what's going on. I'm not even sure exactly how that goes, but I read a little bit of a sample and I was like, I'm here for it. So this should be interesting. Let's move on to the next one. Next up, we have another, you guessed it, of my most anticipated books of 2024. I knew I was going to be trying to read a lot of new releases because I don't really have a lot of backlists that I'm itching to read. I have one on this list, but I don't feel like I had a ton. So I was like, we getting in as many new releases as we can. So this one is a sci-fi thriller released in February of 2024. This one is Past Crimes by Jason Pinter. A little blurb about this book says this is Ready Player One meets Black Mirror. Now, I wasn't crazy about Ready Player One. I have not seen many Black Mirror episodes, so what am I getting into? This one is very interesting. We are in the year 2037, where death has become a big form of entertainment. It has become the norm. Also, it says nearly all human interactions have moved to the virtual world. I'm assuming that's what it has to do with Ready Player One. And then I guess death as entertainment is Black Mirror. Aha! I got you. I got you. So in the story, we follow this woman named Cassie. I believe, from what I remember, she works with the death part of the entertainment industry. Like, she goes and finds people who want to sell their stories about death to people for entertainment, something like that. But anyway, one day she is going home and she's calling her husband, or she's getting ready to go home and she calls her husband and he's not answering and something's not right. He's not responding to any of her text messages, something like that. So she decides to head home, and when she gets home, there are emergency drones heading in that direction as well. And I'm not sure what happens next, but it says that what she finds when she gets there sends her in a fight for survival. So this sounds so intriguing, so interesting. My library hold has also come up for this one, so I have to get to reading so I could get to these books. I'm so excited. You know, I love my sci-fi thrillers, so let's move on to the next one. And speaking of sci-fi thrillers, this is another one. I actually talked about this in my winter TBR video, so like all the rest though, I'm keeping it brief, but even briefer because I already talked about this. But this one is Beta by Sammy Scott. And this is actually, as of me filming this, currently on Kindle Unlimited. So I will have it linked below. I always link all the books below, but I will make sure I have the Kindle Unlimited link below so you can read it for free. This is the one that is about this man who lives in self-imposed isolation, and he gets the opportunity to go live in this fully automated smart home. No, thank you. This home is controlled by a sophisticated AI, and at first he thinks it's a paradise, and then he later learns that he may be in a technological prison. I could have told you that. But anyway, I did not get to read this during the winter, so I am looking forward to reading it in the spring. It is not winter themed, so I'm just going to slide it on into the spring TBR. I have a couple more that I didn't get to in winter that I'm going to read during the spring. And if I don't read them in the spring, they go in the summer, and that's just going to be that. So speaking of another one that I had on my list for my winter TBR that I didn't get to, and another one that is not winter themed, so it's fine to push it on into spring, and I'm gonna get to it. I have it right here. And this one is Everyone Here Is Lying by Sherry Lapina. Of course, mystery thriller. I actually started reading a little bit of this one. Oh, I think I read it a little bit on my Kindle, so I don't have my bookmark in here. But this is one where we have a married man who is having an affair. And at the beginning of this book, the woman he's having an affair with breaks it off, and he goes home in a huff. And when he gets there, his 9-year-old daughter is there, and he's like, what you doing home? He wanted to go home and have a drink and decompress, and then she's there. He's irritated and he loses his temper with her. I already know what happens. I was not here for that part, but I was like, I'm gonna keep reading. But anyway, next thing we know, his daughter goes missing, and it is like, what happened to their daughter? I guess everybody in the neighborhood is a suspect and everyone in the neighborhood is lying. So this will be interesting. I love these kind of ones where, you know, there's gossiping and trying to figure out all these secrets and lies going on in this community and clearly in this marriage. So should be interesting. It is short. So I've also already read a book by Sherry Lapina that I liked. I liked her book, The Unwanted Guest. That's the only other one I've read by her. I see The Couple Next Door is on here. I have not read that, but I'm looking forward to this one. So I've already talked about it anyway. You already know I'm going to be reading it. Let's move on to the next one. Next up, I have book 2 in a series that I just started. And the first book of this series was one of my top 5 books of 2023. So you should already know. I'm speaking of Wayward by Blake Crouch, and this is book 2 in the Wayward Pines series. So in case you don't know, in the Wayward Pines series, we are following a special agent named Ethan Burke. In book 1, he goes to the town of Wayward Pines in search of 2 Secret Service agents who have gone missing. When he gets there, he has an accident. He comes to consciousness. He doesn't know where he is or, you know, how he got there. He's missing his ID and his phone. And there's some strange things going on in this town. Not to mention there's an electrified fence that runs around the town, and he doesn't know if it's to keep things out or keep the people in. And we get answers, darling. So fun. But anyway, in book 2, we are continuing with Ethan Burke. That's about all I can say because there's just so much that happened in book 1 that I don't want to spoil, but I couldn't wait to get to book 2. So I was like, we're reading it for spring. That's just that. And maybe this will be one of my top 5 of the year. We'll see. I'm looking forward to it. Let's move on to the next one. And lastly, we have another book that carries over from my winter TBR. Again, not winter themed. This book actually takes place in June, summertime, but we're gonna read it in spring, hopefully. This one is None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell. Another mystery thriller, another one involving a podcaster. Interesting. You know, funny, interesting fact, I've never listened to a podcast, I don't believe. No, I've actually listened to podcasts, but not like these kind, true crime type of ones. Anyway, disregard, strike the record. In case you don't know, this is the story where we follow a woman named Alex who goes to celebrate her 45th birthday at a local pub, and in walks this other woman that she meets, and she finds out that she's her birthday twin, which means it is someone who has your exact same birthday and the exact same year, everything. Do you know who any of your birthday twins are? I know one of mine. Now, as she's talking to this woman, the woman tells Alex that she's a fan of her podcast and that she thinks she would make an interesting subject for her podcast. Now, mind you, this is a true crime podcast, so why would she be an interesting subject? Anyway, so Alex decides to go along with this, and she strikes up a friendship with this woman, and then one day this woman disappears, and all of a sudden things get strange, and Alex may become the subject of her own true crime podcast because clearly something wasn't right with this woman. Should be interesting. And this one I know as well as the other one with the podcast business. I'm going to do an audiobook because I think it's going to be playing into the story from what I've heard. Anyway, I'm looking forward to it. As I said in my winter TBR, but I'm really hoping to get to it in the spring. I don't have too many books on the list, as you see, because I don't read very fast. But anyway, that's another story for another time. I think we should wrap this up, don't you? Yes. So my beautiful people, there you have it. All the books I plan to read during the spring. As I said, or I didn't say, but I'm saying it now, subject to change. I can change my mind. I may pick up something else. If I DNF one of these books, I will pick up something else. If I get time for other books, I will grab them. And again, I will be adding in some other children's books along the way, because sometimes I just see something and be like, oh, I want to read that. So stay tuned. You never know. As I said earlier in the video, the best way to keep up with what I'm doing is on my Instagram stories. And if you always want to know what I'm reading, I keep my Goodreads updated as well. You can always DM me on Instagram. I love to chit chat with you all back and forth on Instagram about books and whatnot. So as I said, it's linked below. As I said also, all these books will be linked below, as well as ways you can support my channel. I'm a bit of a mess today. Blame the daylight saving. It is today when I'm filming this, so you'll probably see this way later, but just know it happened last night, so I'm a little off. And let's see, I need an emoji for this video, so let's go with, I don't know. Well, for St. Patrick's Day, I looked at this one, it was like, sure, let's go with this. So something green, something related to St. Patrick's Day. I'm sure they have a 4-leaf clover or something. They got gold coins. Surprise me. You know, I love when you all do that. It tickles me. Feel free to let me know in the comments what you plan to read during the month of March, April, or May. If you're going to be joining us for the live show discussion of The Fury, if you're going to be joining for the live show discussion of Murder Road, I think that's the name of it. I need to just stop. Or let me know how your March is going so far, if you so choose. I think that's about it for this video because, again, I'm a mess and I need to go relax and rest myself. I haven't had my coffee yet. This is tea. I'm gonna go get some coffee and unwind. But anyway, as I said, that is all for this video, my beautiful people. So until next time, snuggle up in your hideaway with a good book like any of these or whatever you so choose to read. Unplug as much as possible. Be kind to all kind. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.